edition of Aaron Smith Can't Lose. It's been about 2 or 3 months since I did a last podcast. A lot to get into, very little time to do it, so let's just get right into it. I think I'm about done with Spotify for podcasters, and let me get more into that. I got an email, and I'm sure my fellow podcasters have gotten this same email. This was about a month ago, saying that they were going to switch over and new things to come and better things to come, and this will be phased out. And when something's being phased out 9 times out of 10, on time every time, something gets thrown out. So they just basically just said fuck it, and they didn't want to do this no more. They didn't want to be bothered with everybody able to do this freely and respectively, and however they want to do it, just on their phone. Because now there's a lot of people that don't have access to podcast equipment, or affordability, or event space and recording sessions and all that. We're in a Biden economy. Just saying. You gotta tighten your belts, and this was like the cheapest way to just talk about whatever it is on your show, and now they're getting rid of it, and they're putting in something in place which is just as bad or even worse. And they've done this before, because when they were Anchor FM, for those who remember Anchor FM, they did the same thing where they switched over to Spotify for podcasters, and now they're switching over to something else. I don't know what it is. I don't care. But I'm just going to just wrap up these last couple of shows on this platform. It's nothing against them. It's nothing I have a problem with. The only issue on that really is that, it seems like a cash grab. It seems like, since if you're not making money off something and you can't take it off the sweat of people's backs, then screw them. And I can understand that from a business perspective, but, as a person, who doesn't have, I would say, a limited income. I do all right. I do have a family and to take care of, and support. So this was my only outlet outside of just basically recording. I used to do shows in the studio years ago, and that was fun. And that was before I had a child and was, in a serious relationship. So, but that was years ago. This is now, and that's my problem that I have with these folks. It seems like they just don't give a crap, and it's either you get with it or you don't. Well, I don't, and I'm just about over with it. And I know they're going to hear this or not hear this, and I really don't care. To all the 5 listeners that listen to me anyway, shout out to y'all, and I appreciate y'all. But whatever, it seems like that's the trend now. I know that Google Podcasts as well, they're shutting down. Had to transfer my stuff over to YouTube Music, which I did already. It seems like the walls are caving in on all these free to play podcasting into people. And if you're not a celebrity, if you're not a popular person, you're on your own. And that sucks. And it seems to me that the problem with all that is that everybody has a freaking podcast now, and it's just a thing to do. And maybe that's one of the reasons why they figured, you know what, maybe it's probably not a good idea for everybody who doesn't have the social status or the money to, keep up with this shit. And that's kind of wrong. And it just gets to the point where it's like, it's not fun anymore. And I know this was like my last season and everything, but I didn't want to go out like this. I didn't want it to be like, oh, he's bitching again. I'm like, listen, I wouldn't have to bitch if people would just be more honest with how they run their stuff and not give me a bullshit freaking email saying, no, it's okay, we're just changing a couple of things and it's gonna be the same but not really the same, but we're just switching it up a bit and it's gonna be something different and it's gonna be completely different. So bottom line is that I believe it's June, which is, this is March, April, May, June, 3 months from now, it's pretty much be obsolete. So to all those fellow podcasters out there, hope you're saving your platforms and your episodes and all this other stuff, and you can transfer it to, I think they have a option for you to transfer it to other things, and more power to you. But what a crock of shit. This is like ridiculous, but it is what it is. I'm just going on a tangent, but moving on. Quick announcement. On April 19th, that is a Friday, I believe, here in New York City at the Producers Comedy Club, 44th Street. I will be having a show with a very good friend of mine, Yuri Roman. I did a show with her, and I think last year, I think it was November, December of last year, where it was a podcast festival. You can check that episode out right here on Spotify for podcasters, as long as you can. But I'm also on other platforms as well. You can check me out on iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts for now. And you can just straight up Google Aaron Smith Can't Lose, and it'll just pop up right there in your face. And you can check me out on all multiple platforms at the moment. But yeah, I'm recording on my phone and I get all these crazy notifications while I'm trying to do a show, but it's alright, it's not important. But like I said again, April 19th, it's to benefit autism awareness. I did that show with her last year, and she's alright with me, and she's very hilarious, very funny. It's gonna be a good show. It's for a good cause, so if you're in the area, check it out. April 19th. I believe it's a 7 p.m. show to 11 p.m. I think she has 2 shows. It's going to be an Eventbrite. The links are going to be on my bio within the next 24 hours. You can always check out my social media, The Aaron Smith on IG and X, The Aaron Smith, Aaron L. Smith. You just Google my name and it'll pop up right there. And shout out to her once again for putting me on. I appreciate it. Lots of funny comics. Too many to name. They know who they are. Shout out to them as well. And should have a good time. And yeah. So check us out. I believe that is in 2.5 weeks. This is the 24th. Happy Palm Sunday to those who celebrate it. And should be fun. Yeah. And we had some actually, going on to the next subject, we actually had some like really crazy weather out here in the city. And it was like 70 degrees out here. It was like a touch of spring, and I think spring actually starts soon. I'm not actually knowing what the date is. Google it. I don't have time for it. You can do a lot of Googling, you know. I want to mention that on my show. I actually getting for a sponsor. Maybe they should be able to keep me on Spotify. You know, that'd be nice. But anyway, yeah. It. The crazy thing is that I live in an old house, and in the summer, if you don't have ACs, it is like a furnace in here. And I got a small child, and we can't have that. So I remember last summer, before we had ACs, it was like ridiculous. Like the fan was like even making it hotter, and you know, it was just really bad. And we had to wait till like, you know, the sun went down and to be cooler. But, you know, now that we have an AC in almost every room, except the bathroom, of course, there's no need for that. Um, as you know, bathrooms are naturally cool because all of the water going through it. But even then, that bathroom was hot as heck at one point in time last year. But going back to last week, that's what that was. It was like a spring summer like feel, and it was just like crazy. And it's like I can't believe that in February, because that was 2 weeks ago. That's when it was February. 3 weeks ago. That's when it was kind of that kind of interesting, like weird, like spring summer feel. And I'm like, I have to put the ACs on. They're talking about it's 60 degrees outside, but it's about 70, 80 in here. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, all right, fine. So that's what I did. Uh, but I don't run those things all day because my last name is Smith and not Edison. For those here in the New York City metropolitan area, we are very familiar with Con Edison. That's the electricity people out here, and they are very highly ridiculous sometimes with these bills, and they're crooks. And honestly, I don't know why the fuck they able to do this stuff. It should be I don't know if he got that patent back in the day. I guess it'd be Con Latimer, Lewis Latimer. You can Google up that as well. He was the originator of the light bulb, and Edison stole his idea. And you can look that up in your leisure. I don't have time to go into that. And for those that don't know the story, and this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I was saying in regards to this platform. I just went to check something on my phone and I got cut off. So if you didn't hear the last part of what I said basically that it shouldn't be known as Con Edison, it'd be known as Con Latimer, because Lewis Latimer, a black gentleman back in the days, he was the originator of the light bulb, and that was the like little joke I had, and to Google him up, because if he didn't, he was the originator of the patent for the original light bulb, and he didn't have the actual money, and Edison did, so therefore we have Con Edison, not Con Latimer. But that's it. I digress. Fuck you, Spotify for podcasters, respectfully, and let's move on. Shout out to also Con Edison for having these ridiculous bills once a month. It seems to like homeowners, people that live in apartments. You know what's up. Especially in the summer here in New York, it's ridiculous. And I mean, the fan doesn't always do it, man. Especially with that heat, especially we here in the city, because we're all concrete out here, man. Like, and that's a different type of feel compared to like, outside of the city, New York, or even upstate, or like my mom's in Florida, and that's a completely different heat. That's like this right in your face. It's more tropical, and you trying to get a kind of air handle and stuff like that. You get a little breeze and all that here and there, but over here you get a little breeze and you get a little whiff of marijuana too. Which brings me to my next thing I want to talk about. Now, as a former pothead, and I'm not going to get religious on anybody, and I'm not going to go there, but damn, I really wish that it went back to when everybody was doing it and you didn't know about it. Because unfortunately, you have it everywhere and it stinks. And it smells like ass. Like I talked to my last show, I was talking to Sherry Living. Shout out to Sherry too. A fellow comedian out here in New York City and Boston. And about how bad the weed really is. And hope we get to continue that conversation one day. But we were talking about it, and make a long story short, it's that the fact that is everybody's smoking it, and it's legal, and there's nothing you can do about it, and people are smoking in their houses, and they don't give a shit, and they could give a shit less about you or your kid or whoever the fuck. And even outside, like on the trains, people are smoking this shit on the trains, and that's crazy, and no one can do anything about it, and they know it's wrong. I mean, just because you can smoke it anywhere don't mean you have to smoke it anywhere. Like, these motherfuckers take it literally. Like, literally, I'm going to do whatever I want, however I want. And from the time I stopped smoking, which was about 2 years ago, a little before my daughter was born, and that's the reason why I stopped a lot of things. Like, I dabble, have the occasional vape, which I'm not supposed to be doing either. I have occasional drink, which I can't have to do either. I haven't had one in a while. But this weed ain't weed, man. These you got these smoke shops, and they selling all this A to the Z, and that's to me, because I was such a connoisseur, if you will. Like, I knew what was what. Like, everybody had a guy, I had a guy too. And it seems to me that the stuff that they have now, it's like fake, and it's like synthetic, and it smells like fake. And whatever they're smoking, it doesn't seem like it's real stuff. It's not like real leaves, like the real flower, and you will. And the problem that I have with it is that some of these people can't handle it. Like, it's too strong for them. And they be wigging the freak out. And they be bugging the freak out. And they be doing all this wild stuff. Hurting themselves, hurting each other. Doing all kind of crazy shit. And I know they're probably lacing it with stuff as well. And the problem that I have with it is that they don't care who they hurt. They don't give a fuck if it's a child or a person, another adult, and especially themselves. If you don't care about yourself, you don't care about nobody. And that's the issue that I have with a lot of this going on. And I got family members, and they smoke too. But you know what? They don't smoke around children. They know that that's not what you're supposed to do. Like, you go outside. You get away from the kids. The kids are not supposed to be smelling that. That's just common fucking sense. It's also common fucking sense that if you are doing it in the house, and if it is a decent day, even if it's not a bad day, you crack a fucking window, you put some incense up. There was a time where if you were caught smoking, especially out here in the city. You lose your place or you get a fine. They don't give a crap about that no more. Because they made it legal, and again, the problem is that, not only is it stinks, it's, cause health problems, breathing problems, all that stuff. And I think it's a more like a psychological thing too. It's something mental about that. And I used to use it as a stress reliever to relax myself, to calm myself. But I don't do that no more. Do I miss it? No. There are at times like, oh, I want to smoke, get stressed out, and that stuff. But then, like, with all these things going on, especially the fact that I decided not to do them anymore because that was a personal choice, and as I take, my life now more seriously, now that I have a family, now that I'm trying to do the right thing, now that I am trying to be inclined and more in tone with, God, and not necessarily being a religious person, but being more of a spiritual person and having a connection with God. And you can't do that when you're smoking. Now, we all do bad things and we sin every day, and that's just how it is. And God gave us free will, and that's what it is too. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the basic. I'm just talking straight up to you as I would talk to anybody else, especially how I do it on this show. The fact of the matter is that something ain't right with this weed, and I refuse to put that in my body regardless. And I refuse to have anybody around me have that in their body as well. If I can deter it, if I can deodorize it, if I can get it away from the ones I love, then I'm fine. I can't control what happens outside. I can't control people, but I can control myself and what happens in here, in my circle, and around my people. I'm not worried about nobody else. They can do whatever they want to do. They're going to do it anyway. But I can only focus on what happens here, in here, my circle. And that's how I care about. And it's, hey, I know where that guy is that I used to buy from. Heck, I think I still have his number somewhere. But the fact of the matter is that I just don't know. I just don't know what's in that shit. And then you got the kids smoking it too. And it ain't the same what it was. It's not the same because these chemicals and all this stuff that they have and in it, and nah, I'm good. I'm real good. It's a personal choice. It's a spiritual choice, and I just think it's just common sense that if you haven't done it in a while and you're not used to what they have out there, it should be a health choice as well. And people can come at me all ways they want. Oh, you hypocrite, or you just saying that because you holier than thou. No, it's not about that. It's not about that at all. It's just no. Something about it just tells me no. And you can't trust everybody that sells that stuff, even these stores, because who knows where they're getting it from. And I used to be a smoker. I used to smoke cigarettes. I used to smoke cigars. I said I didn't. Sometimes I have the vape. I just do hookah. I do a whole bunch of things. Weed, everything. I can't go back there. I can't go back and stop that. All I can do is move forward and make sure I can be as long as I can be here for my wife and my daughter. So weed is not really in the conversation anymore. It's just not. And I'm not knocking anybody that smokes it. I'm not going to tell you to stop doing it. But for me, I'm good. Because who am I to judge anybody? I, I'm not perfect either. And sometimes I do like get upset at people and get mad. Because I feel like there's certain things that are not in my control. But I gotta let that go. Let it go, let it be God. I try not to get mad anymore about things and people, because I realize that this is who they are and they're not going to change for nobody. Why, not especially not themselves. They don't give a crap about nobody, but and if you damn sure don't, like I said before, if you don't care about yourself, why should you care about anybody else? If you keep getting away with it, why would you stop? That's what most people's mentality is. And I live in a neighborhood like that, where it's, a selfish attitude. And that seems to be like the trend. Because like I said, I've been in New York City. I from New York City. I'm born and raised here. More than likely, I will die here. And the culture of the city as a whole has changed. There are no neighborhoods anymore. There is nobody looking out for anybody anymore. Even if they're cool with anybody, even if they're chill with anybody, everybody is everybody man for themselves. And respectfully, I'm okay with it, but I'm not okay with that. But I understand it, because I would do the same thing for my family as well. And I ain't got a lot of friends. I have one friend. I have associates. I have people I speak to here and there who I consider friendly, but I don't consider them my friends. I got one buddy from high school, and I've known over 25 years. That's my brother. I consider him more a brother than a friend. And I'm good with that one friend. And my wife, I consider my friend too. My best friend too. But it's just these people out here, it's about them. They about doing them and what they can do, get best for them. More power to you. I gotta protect mine. And that weed is, I'm good. Then, moving on to my next subject, which is basically all this crazy shit going on in New York, man. Like, what the fuck? Who would have thought a year ago that we would have all this madness going on? First, you got the migrant situation, which again, I said in other shows, previous episodes of my show, that we should have nipped this in the butt. You probably hear my daughter in the background. She's watching Sesame Street with her mother. And that's fine. I'll join them shortly after I finish this episode. But you got, the migrants here. And yes, we should just stop that when it was getting too much. Now, I don't necessarily blame them for this, because, okay, you have a situation where you came from a country or countries or what have you, and you want to do better for yourself and your family, or you're single and you just want to come here, the whole American dream mythology. That's why I consider it a mythology. I don't consider it a dream. It's a mythology. It's not for me. I've been there. I've done that. Whether you work hard and you get your ass off and you can do whatever you want to do. Bullshit. But you want to believe in that? More power to you. My thing is that it should have just been stopped when people got too much, where the overcrowded shelters, the fact that the people who are already in the shelter system had to be pushed to the side because of helping these migrants. And also the simple fact of the matter is that we have an idiot for a mayor. And I've said that several times. And I know half the city, maybe a little more than half, agrees with me that Mayor Adams needs to go. This man is not doing anything. He does not care about no one for the city, whether you black, white, Asian, Christian, migrant. He does not care. And he's a little hot water himself too, with all these things that's coming up in his past. But we'll talk about that another time. I really don't have time to speak about him right now, and I really don't care. That would be like a whole nother show, a whole different show. But anyway, my problem is that it should have been cut off, but now we have them here, and now the thing is that people don't know or not aware that it's not just people coming from these Latin countries here. You got other folks coming through the borders. You have African migrants, you have Russian migrants, you have people from all over the world coming through these borders into the not just here in New York, but all these other quote-unquote sanctuary cities. Chicago and Los Angeles. Los Angeles is terrible right now from what I've heard and what I've seen. People out there in the street in tents and all that other stuff. And like I said, most of this stuff is not a coincidence, but by design. And these things are happening for a reason. What it is, I have no idea, but it makes you raise an eyebrow to the point of like, yo, what the heck is going on? And that's just one issue that I have here in the city. Public safety, obviously, because you have a lot of mentally ill, and not necessarily even mental, but you have just these people who just want to just go nuts, and there's too much violence and nuts and crap on the trains. And like I said, we only go anywhere unless we have to. Whether it's an appointment, go to the store and walk around, come back, because it's crazy out here. I barely travel as it is, unless it's to going to work. And that's the problem that I have, is that most people can feel me on this, is that if you're not safe on a train, if you're not safe on a bus, you're not safe just walking around, then how safe can you be? And it's just random. It could be today, it could be next week. You never know. And you gotta have eyes in the back of your head now, because people is nuts out here. And it's everywhere. It's not just in the urban communities or what they call a quote-unquote ghetto or whatever have you. No, it's everywhere. People getting knocked off, not knocked off, but harassed and assaulted 34th Street, 42nd Street. These are tourist attractions. These are places where people of that Caucasian persuasion, if you will, hang out at. 86th Street, East Side, yeah. And a lot of people are going to be like, oh, that's kind of racist. No, it's not racist. It's the freaking truth. It's everywhere. New York City is on fire right now. And all this mayor does, all these city council people do, all these position and power people do, put a bandy on it. We got a governor that has the National Guard here for a situation that should be handled locally. But unfortunately, she's above Adams, Hochul, Kathy Hochul, the governor and shit, and she had to step in. Is this is the reality now? And everybody has an answer to the problem, but never a solution. And then you got the guys on the other side talking about, bring back stop and frisk and bag searches and all that stuff. Okay, yeah, all right, fine. You do that, then what? Then you end up pissing off on a bunch of people who don't like cops in the first place. And people are jumping cops. These migrant people that jumped a whole bunch of cops. Like people are too jumpy and too nervous, and that's scary. And no one has a real solution. So everybody better come together and be in the middle and figure it out, because sooner or later it's gonna be a problem. And it's gonna be on your doorstep. It's gonna be your problem. Then what? But yeah, I just, it's not that I don't care. No, I can never say that I don't care about silly things. People send me stuff all the time. And, let's just switch it up for a little bit. They send me things about um, goofy things on the internet, memes. You know what memes are, and these sexual provocative things. And I'm like, I got a wife at home, Mike. Maybe somewhere years ago, I'm like, hey, that's all right. She's cute. Or hey, she got nice tatas. Or hey, she got a nice little rump over there. But I'm like over it. You get to a certain age, and it's like, what I did 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I probably wouldn't do. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if 40-year-old Aaron and 30-year-old Aaron would get along. I believe that they would be the same a little bit. But it's the fact that 40-year-old Aaron has a child and 30-year-old Aaron didn't, yeah, that kind of changes things. 30-year-old Aaron used to be like, oh, what's up? What's the next spot? What we going to do this then? What we doing tonight? What's up? Always out and about. 40-year-old Aaron is like, what's on TV tonight? When I can watch TV. If my daughter's not up or my wife doesn't need anything. And but I don't think 40-year-old Aaron and 30-year-old Aaron would get along or understand each other. They would be kind of, they would probably butt heads. Now, 20-year-old Aaron and 30-year-old Aaron would probably be a little closer, because that's, 20-year-old Aaron was just wild. He just didn't give a crap. And, he was sticking and moving and, full of piss and vinegar, if you will. And, it was the right place and the right time and the right girl, yeah. And 30-year-old Aaron, too. He was just more smart about it. He was just more like, okay, yeah, she may be a hot piece of ass, but that chick crazy, I mean, think about this. If I do that, then it's going to be a one and done. But now that I'm 40 and, pretty much practically married and, in a serious relationship and, going to put pen to paper soon. Got cut off again. Thank you so much again, Spotify. I was into something. Again, 20, 30, and 40-year-old Aaron are completely different people, and they had completely different lives, and they probably wouldn't have gotten along. That was the whole gist of everything. This platform is something else. I guess when you start talking and being real and honest with yourself, they don't want to hear it. That's when he cut you off. Huh. Or maybe it's my phone or the internet. I'm not sure. I don't care. But we're going to wrap this up. And if I get cut off again, so to make sure I don't do that, I want to thank you guys for listening. I want to thank you for watching it, wherever you are, however you are, whenever you are. Once again, like I said, check us out April 19th It's a Friday, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Producers Club in New York City. You get your tickets on Eventbrite, and the links will be up soon on my social medias. The Aaron Smith on IG, the Aaron Smith on X, Aaron L. Smith. You can Google that as well. And also, if you want to check out my podcast, if you are not familiar with it, if you're not subscribed already, you can just type in Aaron L. Smith on Google, and it'll just pop up right in your face, and you can check us out. I don't know if I'll be on this platform next time I record. More than likely I will. More than likely, probably, definitely. I'm not sure because I don't know. Like, this thing is like, I don't want to say the R word, if you know where I'm getting at, because it did really get canceled, even though no one was ever subscribed to me anyway. But okay. But yeah. I guessing I'll see you next time. More than likely. Yeah. All right. This is Aaron Smith, and like always, I can't lose. Until next time, people. Peace.